All right, Shalom. I'd like to start up by saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harikak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and my elder Heroine as well. Salutation to the Akim that are pushing this truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Khanak Samba Yasharala from the Lions of the Yasharala camp. And this is on going into the feast day, I think, that just ended, the Purim. Which goes into, which the word Purim means lot. Hold on one second. This microphone right here. All right, so, yeah, there we go. The word Purim actually means lot. And long story short is when there was a situation where during the Medo-Persian Empire where these, particularly one severe enemy of ours, Esau, was casting a lot upon us to have us destroyed when it didn't matter because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai had already cast a lot upon us to be delivered and be saved and preserved. Just like how in these times, and there's nothing new under the sun. Just like how he did it back then, the Lord's going to do it again today. All right, Lord willing, this lesson to edify and to serve his purpose for the hopefully elect, the ones who truly believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, so let's go. Let's start at Esther. Let's start at Esther 1:1. We're probably going to skip around a little bit. I'm going to start at chapter 1 to get a quick synopsis of what's going on, and then probably jump over to chapter 5, and then jump to chapter 9, just to see how it goes. All right? We'll just go according to the Spirit. All right, so it says, Esther 1:1. It says, now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, all right, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, or Ashlaka, over 127 provinces. All right, that Ahasuerus is talking about Xerxes the first, all right, Xerxes, all right, and he ruled from 486 to around 465, if I'm not mistaken. We kind of went over this last night on the conference, and we got deep into it. The elders has showed us some stuff. Man, this is crazy. But anyway, Esther 1:2, it says that in those days when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace, all right, it says, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him. All right, so that would be around 483 BC. Okay, all right. So he had this big feast, this big, gathering. And there's a couple series of events that happened in that gathering, which led up to the deliverance of us from our enemies. Right. This is Esther 1:4. It says, when he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days. They partying for some months, man. So it's 90 days is 3 months. Damn, that's about four months. All right. It says, And when those days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan the palace, both unto great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace, where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen, and purple to silver rings, and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver upon a pavement of red and blue and white and black marble. All right, so he had it laid. It says, and they gave him drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance according to the state of the kings. All right, and the drinking was according to the law, none did compel. For so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. So drink it up. throw it back. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, you know, go for what you know, pretty much. All right. It says, verse 9, it says, also, Vashti the queen made a feast for the women in the royal houses which belonged to the king Ahasuerus. Right, so that was his wife. All right. It says, on the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Muhammad, Bazatha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Agatha, Abagtha, Zatar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look upon. I mean, she was fine. He was trying to show her off. All right. It says, but the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment, by which his chamberlains, therefore, was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Right. So she's like, I don't feel like it. Sound like a Jake woman, but I think she was a Persian. I don't know. But tell her I don't feel like I ain't coming. You know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff. Right. So the king gave a commandment for her to come to him. She refused. Right. So now he's pissed. All right. It's about to get real interesting. It says, then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all the law, all that new law and judgment, right? Think about the Persians. Once something was set in stone, it was set. You can't change it, right? So what they was like, what are they supposed to do with her according to the law? And the next unto him was Karshina, Shithar, Admata, Tarshish, Mer, Marsina, Memnukan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen according to the law? Because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by his chamberlains. All right. So Memnukan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen had not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king's Ahasuerus. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women. Right. So what he was saying was, right, not only has she disobeyed you, but she disobeyed us too. Because now, if other women get wind of this, they're going to try to say, like, when we bid them or give them commands to do something, that they don't going to have to do it because of her actions. So there has to be some sort of severe punishment for her actions. All right. All right. It says, verse 17, it says, for this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so they shall despise their husband in their eyes when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard the deed of the queen, thus shall there rise too much contempt and wrath. Right, because they're going to try to follow in her footsteps, feeling like, I know my worth, I don't need no man, I don't need this, that, and the thing. I don't have to listen to you, you don't run me, type shit. Verse 19, if it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before the king Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. Boom. All right. Here goes. Now this is the change in events. All right. So what we're witnessing right now is divine intervention. Okay. Sorry if my voice sounds a little scratchy. I'm trying to come down with something, but I'm fighting it. All right. So now it says, let's read verse 19 again. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that way it can't be altered or changed, that it not be altered, that Vashti come no more before the king Ahasuerus, meaning since she didn't come that time, she can't come no more. And let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than her. Right? To another that is better than her. Now we're witnessing the Lord interfere, because without that, um, um, Esther, which I forgot her real name. I think that's a Persian name. Uh, she would be reside in her place. See that? And that's setting her up to be able to be the one to help save the children of Israel, man, from what was about to come in this time. All right? All right, verse 20 said, and when the king's decree, which he sought, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall go to their husband's honor, both to great and small. Right, so that's, you put this woman in place, every other woman's going to fall in line, according to the decree created by the king. These are the consequences when you move like how she was moving. All right. All right. It says, and the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Memucan. All right. It says, for he sent letters to all the king's provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof, and every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. Everybody got to abide by this, no matter who you are. Like, see, that was keeping the women in pocket. All right, so that was a very important event by Vashti being moved out of the way, and that seat be open. Well, they call it a queen, but, you know, queen in English means whore, but, you know, but like a malakah is the Hebrew word. All right. All right, so okay. Should we go to verse 2? Yeah, let's go to verse 2. All right. It says the header in verse 2, chapter 2 says, Vashti's successor sought. All right. This is where Esther's coming in. All right. It says, Esther 2:1, it says, after these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the woman, unto the custody of Hedge, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things be for purification be given. So it ain't like he just pick a woman, he go in and pop her all the way. No, they got to go through a series of purifications and stuff like that before he even be set alone with them. Like, you see what I'm saying? See how things were done, like, because that's how things were done back then. But these days, man, you know what I'm saying? These women be jumping around from you know, rod to rod, easy. You know what I'm saying? And barely take a bird bath. But anyway, verse 4, it says, and let the maiden which pleased the king and be queen instead of Vashti, and the thing pleased the king, and he did so. All right, well, now we're about to witness some more divine intervention happening. All right, so now the story is going to go into how these nations, our enemy, it's going to reveal who our enemy is, and we all know, right, was casting lots upon us, but it don't matter because, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahushua was with Israel, and always going to be with Israel to deliver us. Verse 5, now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. All right, well, he's a very important individual. Okay, all right, but he was looked upon as like a bum. All right, but he was real wise though. All right, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away with Jehoiakim, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. All right. I forgot exactly what time period that was. I got it in my notes somewhere, but not important. All right. It says, and he brought up Hadassah. All right. All right. That's her name. That's her real name is Hadassah. All right. Which Hadassah means myrtle tree. All right. Under the myrtle tree. This is Esther, his uncle's daughter. For she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So he brought her up. He brought her up in the law, statute, and commandment, brought her up in the truth. All right, and treated her like it was his own daughter. All right, it says, so it came to pass when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the woman. All right, of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, because he was like, Xerxes gonna like this one. So he was like, oh, she the one, right? More divine intervention. Right? It says, which such things are belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house, and her pure and he preferred her and her maidens unto the best place of the house of the women. All right. So there was a place where all the women would gather, and the women would teach other women. That's where how the elder was explaining to us. That's where the whole university things happened, where it started. So, all right, verse 10. It says, Esther had not shown her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not shew it. All right, so more divine intervention. So they didn't know that she was an Israelite. They didn't know that she was a Jew. I don't know if she was a Benjamite, but she was of, of the 12 tribes. All right. It says, in verse 11, it says, and Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. All right, so he's just keeping an eye on her, making sure she was good. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go to the king, Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the woman, for so were the days of her purification accomplished. To wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things of purifying of the purifying of the woman. Damn. So she gonna smell good, and ain't no like putting good smell on top of funk like some of these women be doing. I mean, they were purely purified, and they were probably virgins too. All right, never been touched. Nowadays, these women don't give a hell who run up in them. Then thus came every maiden unto the king. Verse 13. Then came every maiden unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the women into the king's house. And in the evening she went. On the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of Shaashgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came into the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go into the king, she required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the woman, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her, because she was beautiful. So Esther was taken into King Ahasuerus into his house, royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. All right, I don't know what that is from the Hebrew month, but these are all Persian names. Verse 17. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Boom. There we go. There we go. All right. Let me see. Is there some more on this? We might be able to skip over to chapter 3. Slack you. So now Esther was chosen to be queen to replace Vashti. All right. And that's very important. All right. Because she's going to have a choice to make. All right. All right. Esther chapter 3. It says, the header says, Haman's plot against the Jews. Right now we're getting shifted in the story, climaxing of the story. All right. We're going to find out who Haman's is, right, and why he's plotting against us.